team process, and I thought with the recent changes at the channel, I thought it would be a great thing to get things started, kind of get an introduction to kind of new direction. And yeah, this team, just like the channel name, is Specs Nasty, and my team is consisting of myself, Halu, Baby Eric, and Bash, all friends of mine, people I've all met in the UNL League, and we teamed up for this, and well, we're gonna try and kick some ass, win the tournament, and we think we got the squad to do it, and we think we got the team to do it. So we'll talk about the team we drafted. And for starters, we are gonna have the 4th pick in the draft, and we are gonna take Tapu Koko. Things got a little frosty right off the bat because 2 of us wanted Tapu Koko and 2 of us wanted Mew, but we did end up deciding to go with Tapu Koko, which was the one I did want to take. I was on that side. This Pokemon right now is basically considered to be, or at least based on generally where it's going in drafts, can be considered to be the gold standard of Draft League. It is the most common first pick. It goes the highest in drafts in general, and we were excited. Well, half of us were excited to get it at number 4, where I did not think it would be, but it did wind up being, and it's going to be our Z user. I assume most of you guys know what this Pokemon does. Fast, turns out, Volt Switch U-turn, can even defog, it can be a threatening sweeper with Calm Mind, and I do not have the rest of my team with me in this video, and we couldn't have them here, and the reason is because I didn't ask them, but I do have quotes from the rest of my team, one for each pick, and I will read them off. So the first quote here is going to come about Koko from Baby Eric. He's going to say, "I didn't want Koko, but they ignored me because I am Jewish." And I took their quotes verbatim, so if you got any problem with what they said, you gotta speak to them about it. They wrote the quotes, they sent the quotes to me, I'm just reading them to you. And anyway, after Tapu Koko, we're gonna go ahead and get Landorus. This pick was easier, there was unanimity among our team, we all wanted it because this Pokemon was there on the 21st pick. Can you imagine a sheer force Landorus Incarnate being available with the 21st pick? But it was, and we were gonna pounce on that, scoop that motherfucker up. We get just one of the premier Pokemon in Draft League right now. B, we get a great ground answer to go with Tapu Koko, a great poison answer to go with Tapu Koko, and also helps with electric types, which can wall Tapu Koko. And this Pokemon is also just a good breaker to go with Tapu Koko. Koko adds a speed to its breaking ability, Landorus adds a breaking ability to Koko's speed. They get a little pivot thing with U-turn and U-turn / Volt Switch, where they can kind of keep switching around, keep pressure up on the opponents, which is always very nice. And next up here, we are going to go ahead. Oh no, I almost forgot to read the quote. That would have been not good, but I do have a quote here from teammate Bash, who is going to say, "We can definitely use Sand Force too. It's a thing. I've done it before. One time I brought Sand Force more than Sheer Force." And that's what Bash is going to say on the matter. I'm not going to, I don't stand by his quote. I'm not going to agree with his quote, but that's what he said. So next up here, I've got my Charizard Mega X. That's what we're going to take. And basically here, the people who wanted Mew wanted Charizard X, so we kind of just reached agreement to get things going diplomatically. They got the Mega they wanted, we got the first round pick we wanted, and I mean, aside from that, it does just go well with our team, so I'm not hating on it. Charizard Mega X is going to be, it's another nice breaker to set things up for Koko, which is nice. The electric terrain is going to boost its Thunder Punch, which is going to allow it to deal with bulky waters, which can be a little bit annoying to Charizard, so that's a nice thing too. we do have Landorus, which is a nice ground resist for the Charizard, and having speed and pivot with Charizard does allow it to get some opportunities to come in and get setup chances, so it did make sense with us here. What was I gonna say? I forget. So it does give us our first answer to things like fire and grass. Our team didn't appreciate either of the two types too well there before, particularly not grass. It gives us a way to pressure out bulky grass types, and that's important, having Coco, having Landorus. And I'm going to read the quote we have on this thing. This is going to be a quote coming from Halu. He's going to say, "Charizard X hits like baby Eric with his of mice and men Lenny retard strength." And that is his quote, not my quote, so talk to him about that if you're not a fan. But next up here, we're going to take Cobalion, and we're looking a little bit weak to Ice, a little bit weak to Rock, and Cobalion's going to cover those. It's also going to complete our Fairy Steel Dragon Core, giving us a pretty strong one with Coco, with Charizard, and now with Cobalion. It's our first real Rock setter, since you're not going to want to have to run that move slot on Landorus. It has so many other things it prefers to run. Of course, it's a nice option to have, but you want something that can more reliably set him up. And it is going to be our second and final Z user. The rule is 2 Z users. We went with Coco, went with Cobalion, and we are pretty happy with those Z options. They're both pretty strong at doing that. Aside from setting up rocks, Cobalion helps us deal with things like ice, of course. A few different types we weren't great against. Another answer to grass, which was a little bit annoying. Having a strong fighting type can also help, particularly with us being a little bit vulnerable to rock, considering we got the Charizard and this being our first response. Cobalion does help pressure those things a little bit, and it also a little bit can help our pivot, our little Volt Turn core with Coco, with Landorus, and now with Cobalion, since it does learn Volt Switch. So we can get a little bit of a pivot thing going on. And Cobalion is going to add to our theme of very offensive setup mons early. So that's going to be Cobalion, and I'm going to read the quote from my... Actually, first I want to talk about the speed tiers too, and then I'll read the quote. But Cobalion does help our speed tiers pretty well. We're now at 394, 331, 328, 346, which does make our team a little bit annoying to speed creep. We covered a lot of the areas we felt like we needed to hit, and the next Pokemon being Starmie, which I'll talk more about, but that Pokemon at 361 kind of makes sure we got everything we need in the speed tiers. So now it's time to read the quote on it, and I've got a quote from Baby Eric who says, "Whenever you have a chance to grab a crappier Scizor for one less point, you pounce on it." And those are going to be his words on the matter. So next up here, I got Starmie, or we've got Starmie, should I say. We like Starmie for a few reasons. It's another answer to Ice, which is nice. It's another answer to Fire, which we don't switch in on too well, aside from Charizard, and the big thing is it gives us a rapid spin, which is particularly nice considering we have the Zard. It is nice to have that removal. The speed tier is nice, gives us our first water, and that's nice for potentially a fire, water, grass core. It also helps us pressure out grounds, which we're not overly great against. Starmie's going to help with that. And that's going to be our pick there with Starmie. Let me read the quote I've got from my teammate on that. We've got Bash here saying, "I honestly think Starmie is better than Coco in Draft League right now. Rapid Spin is better than Defog, and Natural Cure gives it better defensive sets." And again, I'm not going to sponsor what Bash said there, but that is what he thinks, and that's part of our process. So next up here, we've got Uxie, and a few reasons for Uxie is that, well, we've got screens from it, which is nice for Zard, and well, it's nice for Zard. It's nice for the Landorus. It's nice for Cobalion. We have quite a few setup options. It's a slow U-turn, which kind of helps our pivot core. This Pokemon is another answer to ground, which we were mostly relying on Landorus for up to that point, so that's a pretty nice thing too. A little bit of bulk helps us out since our team is completely offensive up to this point. And on this Pokemon, I have got a quote from my pal Baby Eric, who says, "Screens are like a woman. They're very good for a little bit and then useless." And I'm, again, not going to sponsor what he said there, but that is what he said, and I took their quotes verbatim. So that's our first 6 Mons, and we've got 3 left in this format. It's 100 points, 9 picks, and I'll go to our next 3 here. Next up, we've got Sceptile, and Sceptile has got that nice little ability, Unburden, to go with our electric terrain. At this point, we spend big on our first 6 picks. We got some quality stuff, so I had to find some niche options later. And Sceptile is going to step up to the plate. Not exactly the first grass type you're going to be lining up to take, but it does kind of complete our Fire, Water, Grass core a little bit. This Pokemon with Electric Seeds and Unburden becomes a very threatening sweeper. Going through the seeds allows it to click Acrobatics, which is a phenomenal coverage move, along with its grass type moves. This Pokemon will outspeed anything on the field. In the terrain after it's unburned, it's a fast motherfucker. Speed allows it to do things like Sword Stance, as well as the defense boost helps with that too. And this Pokemon becomes threatening, and for 5 points, it's a steal. So, I've got a quote here from teammate Halu, who's going to say, "We tried to give SpecsTar the Mon he wanted here so he wouldn't complain when I took Scyther. The plan backfired." And that one I actually will confirm, that was true. I was not pleased when with our next pick we went ahead and took Scyther, because I see Scyther as redundant on a team with Mega Charizard X. I would never want both of them, but they wanted it bad, and the 2 of them wanted it. 2 of my teammates wanted it bad, so you know, it's what it is. I'm stuck with this thing that I probably won't use. At the very least, it can Baton Pass. Does give us our first pursuit option, so that's something. But yeah, I didn't want this thing, and we have it. Even though I don't think it's the smartest pick, I wanted to look at something like a Dark type here, or maybe another Spinner. But we got Scyther, which I guess is a Defogger. So there's that. And the quote we've got on this is going to come from Baby Eric, who's going to say, "I originally wanted Hodge, but Halu told me he would consider letting me into his League's D-League if we went Scyther." That's going to be Baby's words on the topic. So lastly here, we've got Bubarel. And this is another pick I was not happy with, because we had 3 points left, and what I wanted to do, since we had Scyther and Mega Charizard X, is I wanted to grab Sandslash to make sure that if we're going to be we're going to have that many serious weaknesses to Rock, I want to have another solid answer to Rock, and I wanted Sandslash, but they wanted to grab a mean pick in Bubarel because they said they liked its price at 2. This Pokemon does simple setup things. This is going to make it set up doubly, so it's enhancing its ability to use Sword Stance and Curse, but was not a fan of this pick. So because of that, I'm going to quote myself on this one, and my quote about this pick was "suck my dick," because I was not happy that we took it, but we did, and I'm going to have to deal with that. Overall though, I do think the team we got was pretty damn good actually. We got Tapu Koko, Landorus Incarnate with Sheer Force, Mega Charizard X, Cobalion, Starmie, Uxie, Sceptile, Scyther, and Bubarel. So I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do when it comes to uploads for battles in this. Maybe I'll just record them by myself, maybe I'll grab a teammate, maybe I'll try to force them all into it. We'll see what happens, but I should at the very least have an upload of me commenting over the battles. hopefully we get multiple done. Hopefully, because in this tournament, in these types of tournaments, people can tend to get tired of it quickly, so we may end up getting some forfeit victories, and that may cut into the amount of uploads we get. Hopefully that's not the case, but it may be. But at the very least should be a few uploads about commentary of the battles. And that is going to be it for this video. So let me know if you guys got any comments, questions about the team. I want to thank you guys for watching. Have yourselves a good night.